Hi friends, I am Mallikarjun Rautunsu, lecturer in chemistry. So when hydrated salts exposed to atmospheric air, they lose water molecules either completely or partially. This phenomenon is called efflorescence, and those substances are called efflorescents. Here equilibria of this kind involving hydrated salts are given. Then the formula unit of the salts having more number of water molecules can lose water molecules when exposed to atmospheric air. Hence they act as efflorescents. So here the chemical species involved in the reactant side having more number of water molecules, they cannot take water molecules further, but they can lose water molecules. Hence all these act as efflorescents. Whereas the chemical species involved in the product side having less number of water molecules or no water molecules can take water molecules, can absorb the water molecules from their vicinity. So those substances which are capable of absorbing water molecules from the vicinity or surroundings are called drying agents. So the chemical species given in the product side act as drying agents. Those which absorb moisture from the surroundings and dissolve into that moisture, if they are soluble in water, those are called derequescent substances. Drying agents are derequescent. So the chemical species given in the product side having less number of water molecules or no water molecules can act as drying agents. So here strontium chloride dihydrate, sodium hydrogen phosphate has heptahydrate, sodium sulfate, all these can act as drying agents. But out of these, which one act as most effective drying agent? That is the question given. So you can find out this by using the values of their equilibrium constants in terms of partial pressures at 0 degree centigrade. Coming to the first equilibrium, in the first equilibrium, the Kp value is given. So here, since strontium chloride hexahydrate and strontium chloride dihydrate both are crystalline solids, their reactive masses are taken as unity. Therefore, equilibrium constant in terms of partial pressures related to vapor pressure of water only. So Kp is equal to partial pressure of water vapor raised to the power of its coefficient given in the balanced equation, that is 4. So therefore, partial pressure of water vapor is equal to Kp raised to the power 1 by 4. What is the value here given? So 5 into 10 to the power minus 12 atm power 4 raised to the power 1 by 4. This value is determined as 1.49 into 10 to the power minus 3 atmospheres. Or you can convert this into torrs by multiplying with 760. So it is calculated as 1.134 torr. This is the vapor pressure of water at first equilibrium. Similarly, you have to calculate vapor pressure of water at second equilibrium. So the equilibrium constant Kp value for second equilibrium is 2.43 into 10 to the power minus 13. This is related to vapor pressure of water at second equilibrium by the formula Kp equal to partial pressure of water. So what is the coefficient of water vapor here in the equilibrium? That is 5. Since these two are in solid state, their reactive masses are unity. And partial pressure of water vapor is equal to Kp raised to the power 1 by 5. And Kp value can be written as 243 into 10 to the power minus 15 atm power 5 whole power 1 by 5. So this is determined as 3 into 10 to the power calculated as 3 into 10 to the power minus 3 atm. Or you can convert it into torrs by multiplying with 760 and it is 2.28 torr. Okay, this is the vapor pressure of water at second equilibrium. Similarly, vapor pressure of water at third equilibrium, that is Kp is equal to vapor partial pressure of water vapor raised to the power of 10. Okay, since these two are solids. Partial pressure of water vapor is equal to Kp raised to the power 1 by 10. So therefore, what is the Kp value can be written as 1024 into 10 to the power minus 30 atm power 10 whole power 1 by 10, and it is equal to 2 into 10 to the power minus 3 atm into 760 gives 1.52 torr. This is the partial pressure of water vapor in the second equilibrium. Now, under these conditions at 0 degree centigrade, what is the partial pressure of water vapor in the atmospheric air? Partial pressure of water vapor in the atmospheric air is 4.5 torr. So here atmospheric water vapor pressure is greater than water vapor pressure under these three equilibria. At these three equilibria, water vapor pressure is less than water vapor pressure that exists in the atmospheric air. So always air flows from high pressure region to low pressure region. Since water vapor pressure at atmospheric air is more than water vapor pressure at equilibrium, so water vapor moves from atmospheric air into this equilibrium. So in all the three cases, water vapor moves from atmospheric air into equilibrium. As a result, water vapor content in the equilibrium increases. As the product is added to the equilibrium state, backward reaction occur as per Richartier principle. In backward reaction, these formula units having less number of water molecules which are written in the product side absorb water molecules and converted into reactants. Since these the chemical species written in the product side absorb water molecules, they act as drying agents or deliquescents. So all these three act as drying agents. Since in all the three cases, so water vapor pressure at equilibrium is less than atmospheric water vapor pressure, that is 4.5. So in all these three cases, water vapor from air enters into equilibrium. So water vapor content in the equilibrium increases. So product is increased, backward reaction occurs. Okay. So here these act as drying agents. So in order to find out the most effective drying agent, you have to compare the values of water vapor pressure at equilibrium with water vapor pressure in the atmospheric air. If you compare this in the first equilibrium involving SrCl2 2H2O, so it has a low water vapor pressure. Since the difference in the water vapor pressure of atmospheric air and water vapor pressure at first equilibrium is more, so more water vapor enters into first equilibrium when compared to remaining three. As more water vapor enters into first equilibrium, so SrCl2 2H2O readily absorbs water and converted back into SrCl2 6H2O. So backward reaction readily occurs in first equilibrium. That is why SrCl2 2H2O act as most effective drying agents among these three. So therefore, the equilibrium in which water vapor pressure is less when compared to atmospheric air, that act as most effective drying agent. Among the three equilibria given here, the first equilibrium has lowest water vapor pressure at equilibrium, that is why it acts as most effective drying agent. So if you compare these, so first most effective drying agent is SrCl2 2H2O. SrCl2 2H2O is most effective drying agent since it has lowest water vapor pressure at equilibrium. And among remaining two, so less water vapor pressure at equilibrium is for third one, that is sodium sulfate. This is the second most effective drying agent. After that, disodium hydrogen phosphate 7H2O. it has a little bit higher water vapor pressure when compared to remaining two. It acts as a least effective drying agent. This is the order of drying capacities of these salts given. Okay, so from this you can understand which one is most effective drying agent and which one is least effective drying agent. I hope most of you understand well. Okay, we will meet in next video. Until then, bye.